So, hey Dave, how are you?
Doing just great today, and thank you for having me.
Awesome. Would you be available to answer a quick 18 questions?
Absolutely.
Great. So, what department do you work in at Aquaterra and how long have you worked here?
Well, I'm in distribution and collection, and in 3 weeks from now, I will have been here for 21 years.
Wow, congratulations. That's awesome. So, what was your favorite cartoon character as a kid and what is it now?
Bugs Bunny when I was a kid. I don't know why. I guess maybe just that we only had two channels when I was growing up, and I think Bugs Bunny was on more than any other cartoon. And today, Homer Simpson, because I can identify with that boy.
So, what are Aquaterra employees doing when they're seen on their phones working at work sites?
Well, they are probably doing reassessments of the job that they're on, entering into site docs, maybe updating their field level hazard assessments, perhaps taking photographs as required on all the different jobs. It's technology that's very, very helpful for us in knowing what we've done, what we're doing, when we're doing it, and to have that all logged for future reference for that particular item or that area.
Awesome. And it kind of cuts down on that paper waste too, hey?
It certainly does. You bet.
So, what's your favorite thing about your job?
Variety. I have a lot of variety, and the ability to associate or connect with people. I'm somewhat of an extrovert, dealing with not just our staff here at DC, with the work group, Aquaterra as a whole, with the general public. I like that. I really do.
So, what was your favorite subject in school?
Believe it or not, physics and chemistry. Chemistry I found really, really easy. I don't know why. And physics, it was math associated, so I liked that end of it. And certainly helped me out in life. I didn't think it would at the time, but certainly helped me out in life down the road.
So, what is directional flushing?
Directional flushing, a way that we are able to scour our water lines by using a fire hydrant, where we run on a grid system, if you will, and water will flow from any area that has more pressure and the demand is coming to be used. It'll come from the area that has more pressure. We actually will shut down valves so that we're only pulling water from one direction at a time, which creates a higher velocity. And with more velocity, it helps scour the pipes, make sure they're clean, gets rid of anything that may have built up on them, and we'll shut, say, that direction down, and then open up another direction using the same hydrant to basically ensure that our lines are kept clean.
So, do you like to dance? And if so, what kind of music?
Well, I don't dance too much. I have a club foot. That's the problem. Gets me into the club and out of the club. Uh, um, but I do like AC/DC, Rolling Stones, Black Sabbath. Like I'm a rocker from way back in the 70s and 80s. So
What was your first job?
first job depends what you classify as a job. I had three paper routes when I was 8 years old till I was about 12, and then around 13 years old, started to work for my uncle in one of his grocery stores, and did that part time until I actually graduated from high school. So yeah, I was a bag boy, shelf stocker, carryout guy, whatever. It was good. Again, it was all good life lessons that has served me very well as I progressed and moved to other things.
So, if you have to give your vehicle a name, what would you name
Old Faithful.
it?
Uh, see, I've had the truck for 9 years. Has not caused me a lick of trouble other than changing tires, changing oil, one set of shocks, and two windshields. So very, very reliable truck, and It's never let me down. So I guess that's why I call it Old Faithful.
So who maintains yellow hydrants and who maintains red hydrants?
That could be a combination. I'll explain to you what the difference is. Yellow hydrants are publicly owned, whether that's the city or a town or a county that's owned by the public, which Aquaterra is solely responsible for to maintain and look after. Now, red hydrants indicate that it's privately owned on private property. The yellow hydrants, Aquaterra is responsible to look after them to ensure that they're flushed and operational every summer, and then to ensure that they're winterized and ready for winter use. The red hydrants are maintained. It's the responsibility of the property owner to have them maintained. Whether they choose a contractor, that's totally up to them. But we do have contracts with some private companies too, where Aquaterra goes in and addresses any issues and ensures that the hydrants are in proper operating order.
So what would be the title of your autobiography?
The title of my autobiography, Been There, Done That. Tried my hand at a lot of different things. Right on from managing Howard Johnson hotels. Was director of sales for CN Hotels. Owned, bought, and managed my own convenience stores. Had my own vending companies. Had my own hotshot company. Worked in a lumber mill. Worked with Aquaterra, of course. A janitorial company one time. So yeah, I've tried a lot of different things. Had some successes. Had some failures, but overall, successes outweighed the failures. So for a lot of things, been there, done that.
So what are some leak detection tips?
As everybody knows too, a leak can be very costly for you. Even a slow leak can really add to your monthly bill. One of the things you can do is put a little dye in the toilet tank and leave it sit for a bit and see if any of this color or dye gets into the toilet bowl. If it does, it means you do have a slow leak there. You may just have to adjust the tree or the float in your toilet tank itself. Another way to check for leaks is, well, with our new water meters that everybody has in their home, they're battery operated, and if you use a strong flashlight and put it on them, you'll get a digital screen come up, and it'll show you how many cubes you've used, and it'll also show you if there's any movement through this meter. An arrow will come up showing the direction of flow. If there's no arrow, there's no flow. As soon as there is flow, even a small, minuscule amount, the arrow will come up and show you you're using water somewhere. Then what you can do, usually, quite often, toilets have culprits, and sometimes if you have outside irrigation system, that can be the culprit too, where you turn the main valve off for a toilet one at a time, and then go see if it's changed anything or not, or the irrigation system, maybe even a leaky faucet, tap, or tub, but they're more obvious, very easy to see if there's something wrong there. But usually irrigation systems and toilets, just turn the valve off one at a time, see if it changes. Once it changes, once the arrow disappears, you know you've got the right spot, and then you can focus on that.
So if you were given 3 wishes, what would you wish for?
I'd like to see equality for everybody. So now you're getting the softer side, the more serious side it is, right? The second wish would be for COVID just to go away. Third wish, I'd ask for 3 more wishes.
So why is it important to contain it and not drain it?
If you're referencing grease and/or oils, it will eventually come back to bite you. As greases go down your sink or tub or wherever you're pouring it, set tubs, quite often it's in a liquid state. But it does grab the sides of your pipes or the bottom of your pipe. If you have a sag in a pipe somewhere, it gets to sit there. And as a grease sits in the bottom of a pipe, starts to cool. As it cools, it coagulates, gels, and then becomes a solid. And it's almost like a snowball effect. It'll eventually just choke your pipe right off, causing you some type of sewer backup, whether it's in your sink or into your basement coming out of the floor drain. It's very costly for the plant to look after, and it could be very costly for you to look after if you have a backup. Sewer backups are not something anybody likes, and it's not pleasant to go through.
So what's on your bucket list?
Well, I'd like to go on a nice deep sea fishing expedition. I'd really like to do that someday. And I did race stock cars with my dad when I was younger. I'd like to get down to Vegas and take a run in a NASCAR. I'd like to run a NASCAR if I could. Then as I get older, because I don't think I'm old yet, but some people call me the old dog here, get a cabin on a lake, call that my retirement home.
So what kind of work does the distribution and collection team do, and how do they do it?
This I could go on for a long time, Brittany, because we have a lot of different core areas that I can mention, and that's all probably I'll touch on. And then you can go into a lot more detail on each one of the areas. Right from underground maintenance of water lines, sewer lines, water valves, maintenance, and ensuring that lift stations run. That's where we're returning the black water back to the treatment plant, lifting it, making sure it gets back to where it should go. Maintaining fire hydrants, assisting maintaining bulk water. We take chlorine samples, we take turbidity samples, we take Bacti samples weekly to ensure the quality of our water meets the standards of not only provincial but federal regulations. These are just a few things, and I could really expand or go into a lot of expansion on each one of these areas. But in a nutshell, that's kind of what we do. We're the distribution and collection. We're basically the maintenance department that looks after everything to do with water and sewer after it leaves the treatment plant.
So who would you recommend aliens talk to as Earth's representatives? Do you think you would be a good representative?
Oh, I think so. If I couldn't dazzle them with my brilliance, I'd probably try to baffle them.
So last question, if you could control one element, so air, water, earth, or fire, which would it be and why?
I'd say water, because if water is running or flowing, water has oxygen in it, so you have air. Fire can be useful, it can also be harmful. Water can be used to put out fire, and water is required to grow things in the earth or on the earth. So I pick water, and probably a good choice because I am in the water business anyway.
All right, well, thanks so much, Dave, for joining us.
Great, it's been my pleasure.